Okay. So I rule in favor of the Manila International Airport Authority for the legal basis that government instrumentalities like NIA is exempted from tax based on the law. So it is because parang these properties, yung airport lands and buildings, they're owned by the state and they are catered to public use and services. And they're not for commercial purposes. So I think that taxing NIA would be not beneficial for the public because parang it's like the tax debtor is also the tax creditor na.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is a case of this is an example of how to in this case I think was cited in the notes of Dumondon. Tama? Or you did not read the Dumondon note here? Okay.
I haven't read past 22 pages po.
Okay. In this case, you as always is the government owned and controlled corporation exercising a governmental function or a proprietary function? Is running an airport or making planes arrival or tourist arrival smooth something that the government is doing as a service to the Filipino people, or is it something that best done by private sector, but the government is still doing it as a proprietary action?
The latter po.
Latter?
I mean, it's better po na. Wait. Could you repeat the question po? I'm sorry.
Operating an airport, a governmental function or a proprietary function?
Oh, it's a governmental function po.
If it's a governmental function, then it should be tax exempt. Okay. Now, the next question is, in this case, are we talking of tax imposition or tax exemption?
We're talking about tax exemption po.
It looks like tax exemption, right?
Yes.
But you look at the case, what happened? Before the local government code or before 1992, was NIA paying tax? Based on
they weren't.
They were?
They were not po paying.
They were not paying at all. Panahon ng Joey Marquez, saka siya nag-collect eh. Joey Marquez, when Joey Marquez was mayor in 19-something to 2001, saka siya nag-collect. So what is this? A case of collection or a case of exemption?
Oh, it's a case of collection.
And if it's a case of collection, the rule is?
It's in favor po of the taxpayer.
Yes.
So the burden of proof should be on the taxing authority, which is the city of Parañaque.
Yes. The city of Parañaque should cite what is the basis of withdrawal. Hindi yung NIA ang kailangan magsabi na ay exempt kami kasi ganyan. Ang ano niya is, okay, what is it in the local government code that withdrew the exemption? Okay? Understand? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ayaw magsulat yung grade mo. Wala ng ink yung button ko. Okay, next. This is Miranda, no? Next is Luna. Luna. Are you here? Going once? Wala na. Ong. Joyce.
Hi, sir.
So, Ms. Ong, this is your case.
President Marcos issued a PD, presidential decree, imposing a special levy on all sales on raw coconut in order to raise funds to promote the research and development of the use of coconut as an industrial product. He further decreed that the proceeds of the special levy shall be turned over to CocoFed, a federation of private coconut millers and farmers. Coconut traders questioned why they have to pay this tax. Decide. Wait lang.
Okay. Try mo.
I rule in favor of. Oh wait. Uh. Hmm. Oh wait, sir. I rule in favor. Sorry.
Yeah. Right.
I rule in favor of President Marcos because the tax that he was imposing naman is for research, which means that it's in line with the government objectives and it's for the public welfare naman. I'm just not super sure if President Marcos is allowed to impose a tax himself lang because usually uh, the power of taxation is on the legislation, right? But if in terms of public purpose naman, I think I rule in favor of President Marcos.
Okay. To answer your question, at that time when President Marcos was ruling the Philippines under martial law, he was both the executive and the legislature. So
Sorry.
the legislative power to pass law. That's why the laws are called presidential decree, PD. If it's PD, that it was issued by Marcos as part of his exercise of legislative power under the 1973 Constitution. Now, after that, whether it's Cory Aquino, Sila Ramos, and onward, the presidents no longer are allowed to pass laws. They can only approve laws. So the laws come back to the RA, Republic Act, and these are passed by Congress.
Okay.
Now, that's the first point. The second point is whether this is a public purpose. The coconut farmers were complaining that the money was being collected from them in the form of a tax, coco levy. But it was being managed by CocoFed. CocoFed and one of the bigger of CocoFed, the representative of CocoFed was the late Danding Cojuangco. And the former congressman of Zamboanga, Maria Clara Lobregat. And what happened with this? The people at CocoFed used the money not to research on the coconut, but they use it to buy San Miguel, which buys a lot of coconut, UCPB, the bank. I think I forgot the name of the bank before. Then they converted to United Coconut Planters Bank. Okay, meaning all of these farmers theoretically own. These farmers who produce the coconut and sell theoretically own San Miguel, CocoFed, yung mga ano ngayon, Petron, lahat ng may-ari ng inaari ng San Miguel. Okay. So what it does not have to do with coconut, I don't know. Except maybe the coconut juice that San Miguel sells. But that is how it turned out. Now, the court in its final ruling said, CocoFed is a public fund. That's what the coconut levy is a public fund. Therefore, ownership of San Miguel does not belong to COCOFED as the representative of as the manager of the farmer, but it's in trust for the people of the Philippines. That's why UCPB now is a government-owned bank. San Miguel shares owned by Danding Cojuangco was sold and proceeds turned to the government. But going back to the issue of public purpose, which is kaya I showed you this slide to help you know what you should answer. The court ruled that collecting coconut money, collecting money from coconut farmers, whether it's for to put up a bank that will finance their harvest, or for them to own a share in the companies that are that are buying the coconut is in itself governmental function. The test is not who receives the money, diba? But what is the purpose for which it was intended? Okay, clear?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Lunag, I saw you. Are you going to recite? Mr. Lunag, are you still there? Oh, wala na.
Yes, sir. Sorry, Zoom keeps not responding when I try to immediately turn video on. Okay, let's try. Ayan, tumana. Hi, sir.
So what is this public purpose? Support of the government, promote the welfare of the community, etc. Yeah, Mr. Case.
Sir, I have a question, sir, before, if it's okay. The Marcos case and the Coco funds, is that similar to Lutz versus Araneta? Because the fund, even though it's not strictly for public welfare, but it is because the funds were still used for the betterment of the sugarcane industry. Is that the same for in the case of the cocoa funds?
Yes, the same. Because that is what Marcos did. He created one for sugar, he created one for coconut. He also did one for the oil industry, the oil price stabilization fund. So basically, you're not using it directly for public welfare as in pandemic relief, but you are using it for the benefit of the general public as defined as the coconut farmers.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Nunag, read your case.
Samahan ng mga Informal Settlers sa Balayan, SISB, is a non-stock, non-profit NGO dedicated to the promotion of the rights of informal settlers in the municipality of Balayan. SISB filed a petition with the municipality of Balayan for the cementing of roads inside their community. As of this date, there is still a pending eviction case between SISB and its members and the owner of the land, Don Pedro Ramirez. Considering that 2019 is an election year, the Municipal Council approved the request and appropriated the public funds for the purpose of cementing the road in the said community in 2018 before the election ban takes effect. The lawyer of Don Ramirez questions the action of the Municipal Council decide. Sir, is it possible to ask on ano ba yung implication ng election ban in this entire case?
And then, ang point nito is bago mag-election, in-approve nila para yung mga botante, yung mga squatter doon, bobotohin.
You see. So,
okay, nasa public purpose pa tayo. Is this for public purpose?
Yeah, it's still, I mean, maybe there's questionable yung kind of approval, but yes, it's still for the purpose of public use and maybe coincidental lang siya and there's not really much we can act or say upon it. But it still fulfills that it's for public purpose and there isn't really anything that's being infringed naman.
So, money? Who's the what is the purpose for which it was expended? Cement of the road, di ba? Okay, then I ask you, who owns the road?
Si Don Ramirez. Hmm. Si Don Ramirez po, which is actually, which begs the question, why is Don Ramirez? Don Ramirez running back, is this why she's the one that raised the question of the municipal council?
Yes.
Uh,
Imagine if the road is built, lalong hindi aalis yung mga spotter doon.
yeah. Hmm. On one side, there's some information, on the other is still public purpose. So it's a debate on the purpose of the approval. But uh, I think
Why are you so happy?
so I am trying to laugh off my fear and
Relax.
mm-mm,
I don't eat students for lunch.
thankfully.
Pang breakfast lang ako.
It's still public purpose, even though. So I rule in favor of informal of SISB and approving the cement of the street. Is there anything else to consider pa aside from that, sir?
In this case, who owns the land?
Don Pedro Ramirez.
And then what is the status now? Bakit may nakatira? Anong gagawin nila doon sa mga nakatira doon?
Yeah, wait. Oh, so in this case, would Don Pedro be compensated since it's gonna be used for public purpose, and since it's gonna be compensated naman, even though malapit na yung election and it's gonna affect them. It feels wrong, but it feels justified.
Is it justified? Katayuan ko, yung bahay mo, lalagyan ko ng isang daan doon, ha? Para makapasok yung neighbor mo. Ipapakot ko lang ng konti para yung neighbor mo makapasok mo.
Bakit ka pa sinasubmit in the first?
As of now, okay. The property is still owned by Don Pedro Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
If the property is owned by Don Pedro Ramirez and he filed an eviction case and he already, what will happen if he wins the case?
Oh, he can nagkakaroon ng conflict of interest. Pwede ba yun? Because involved na siya on the cases being reviewed.
If he wins the case, then the government is basically spending public money for private purpose.
Oh, so even though it's for public use, pero private purpose indirectly rin po yung it's still gonna count as, is it gonna overturn the public aspect of this?
No, where is the public aspect? Right? You're building, where are you building the road? Are you building the road along the highway to get to the community, or you're building a road inside their community?
Inside the community, so it's private na po, pag ganun. The moment that it got used on private property. even though people would benefit from it.
Who will benefit from it? Hindi ba yung mga taong nakatira lang doon? Kaya sabi ko, lalagyan kitang ano sa bahay mo. Is that public purpose or private purpose?
Oh, it's private purpose na po in that case. So, yeah, my only
How
reasons.
many people are living in your house now?
Well, it's still private because I own it. So, yeah, in that sense, it's private use na po. Let me change my decision to I rule in favor of Don Pedro Ramirez. That's gonna be used on his land, even though people would benefit from it. Hindi na po siya.
Thank you.
Thank you rin, sir.
Ontejo.
Hi, sir.
Hello. Take your case.
The city of Marikina levied a 100 peso tax per real property yearly for the support of a public education system through the newly established Marikina Science High School. As a property owner in Marikina, but living in Quezon City and working in Makati, assails the tax on the ground that he has not sent, does not, and will not send any of his children to public schools. It violates the public purpose to subsidize the education of a few private individuals. Decide. Wait, sir, let me read again. Is it okay po? Okay. I rule in favor of the city of Marikina on the legal basis of the inherent limitations of taxation laws, which is for a public purpose. So I believe that the issue here is whether the act being done, which is the levying of tax per real property for the public education system, is done for a public purpose and for the public welfare. According to the law, it is according to the taxation funds are dispersed according to a public purpose if it is in accordance with the government objectives, and it will support the objectives of the government in attaining public welfare. Thus, in this case, although the property owner in Marikina will not send his or her children to private schools, the goal of the government, which is to provide quality education, which will also benefit the whole country in the long term, is thus justified. And all the taxes or the real property taxes which they are asking for the public education system is valid and constitutional.
Okay. Sending people to school, that is a public purpose. Not because the beneficiary is private individual. It does not take away the public character of the purpose. Diba? Yun ang sinabi natin kanina. It is not who receives the favor, but the character of the purpose. So you want more people to study. Studying is a public, it's a governmental function. So, and then it's for the development and welfare of the common people. Therefore, the tax is valid, even if the beneficiary will be a private individual. Okay. In fact, in the United States, even the government is allowed to subsidize schools, not because it is the governmental, it is in favor of public, but because you are allowing them to, the private individual, instead of the government building new school buildings to meet the facilities, you allow these people to enroll in private schools and then just subsidize them. Same with the, I don't know if your batch was able to enjoy the senior high school voucher of the DepEd. Yun yung mga programs ni Secretary Armin Luistro. So government money, who benefits? In the private individual who's studying at a private school. So even LaSalle Ateneo accepts senior high school voucher from the DepEd. Purpose is because the government sees it cheaper for them to pay you to teach their kids, rather than for them to build a new senior high school. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Palaganas. Palaganas? Mister. Oh, Miss. Oh.
Hi.
Okay, now I know it's Miss. Don't worry. Oh.
Okay. So the city government of Iligan passed a resolution exempting from payment of real property taxes and business taxes the almost bankrupt Global Steelworks. In the same ordinance, the revenue lost from this exemption will now be assessed and collected from the nearby businesses, since they will benefit from a prosperous business climate brought about by the continued operation of Global. The businesses refused to pay the special levy. Sorry. I ruled in favor of the other businesses under the legal basis of the public purpose because the city government cannot impose taxes for the benefit or in the aid of like a certain enterprise, which in this case is Global Steelworks. And since the imposition of tax is construed against the government and liberally in favor of the taxpayer, it is really the burden of the government to prove if the tax imposition is really beneficial. But in this case, we can't really be certain that the bankrupt company will be able to benefit the people surrounding it. Yeah.
Now, even if they benefit, if the people surrounding it benefit, it doesn't take away that it is what the purpose of the taxation is to help a private business, Global Steelworks.
Yes.
So it violates the purpose of
Public purpose because it's a private purpose na lang.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sanchez, Don Randolph.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you must be very rich. May Don ka na sa pangalan. Okay. Now, let me explain the process of legislation in the Philippines. In the Philippines, we have two houses of Congress. One is called the House of Representatives. The other one is called the Senate. Okay. And both function separately. Therefore, a House approved legislation is called the House Bill. House Bill. A Senate approved resolution is called the Senate Bill. When the two of them approve, they must approve the same, or they must reconcile their approval so that it will end up with one enrolled bill. That process is called the bicameral conference committee. And only when both houses agree on one version can that version be sent to the President of the Republic for signature. Okay, so far so good.
But sir, this is different in the time of Marcos.
Yes, different from the time of Marcos.
Okay.
Marcos is the executive and legislative. Since Cory Aquino, since 1986. So nasa 20 plus years na tayo. No, 30 plus years na tayo. 35 years na. 35 years ago pa. Nagpalit na. Okay. So what happened? Often than not, you will see in the newspaper, House approves 6,000 peso or 8,000 peso subsidy for pandemic displaced workers. Kita niya yung headline nung sa araw? Sounds good. So when will you get the 6,000? Never. Why? Why never? Because the Senate did not approve a similar legislation. Because our system of legislation is two systems. Now, it could be also the other way around. I remember one time what Jinggoy Estrada did. He was the chairman of the Senate Labor Committee. He approved a 200 peso daily minimum wage increase. The House only approved 100 peso increase. He approved 200 peso. So, will the bill, which one will be followed, the 100 or the 200? Sorry, Mr. Sanchez.
Neither, sir.
Either, because the two of them must sit and
Yes, sir.
agree on one number. Since Senate bill and House bill, whatever is passed remains in that chamber only. Okay. Bakit ginawa ni Jinggoy yan? The easier thing for Jinggoy to do was, if he agreed to give the minimum wage increase, was to give 100 peso. Para automatic approve na, di ba? Pareho lang sila ng House. But he did double. So the laborers were clapping and praising Jinggoy. Actually, what he did was what the Sun Tzu Art of War calls one step forward, two step backward. Baliktad siya. Sun Tzu calls it one step backward, two step forward. Siya naman baliktad. He's popular. Everyone thank him. All of the laborers will vote for him come election time. But in reality, he's giving nothing.
So it's a political move, sir.
Yes, yes. It's more of a political gambit lang. It's important for you to know that that is the system, because we have a two-chamber legislature. Now, what is it about this that make us discuss it so long? Because there's a rule that all tax measure must originate from the House of Representatives. So no tax can be passed coming from Senate first. It must come from the House of Representatives. That is the rule. Okay?
Sir, why, sir? What's the reason?
The reason for this is because the House of Representatives is more directly related or more directly representative of the people. Every congressman has maybe at the most 250,000 constituents, and he's answerable to his constituents. This is in line with the principle after the Boston Tea Party in the US, where no tax without representation. So who is our representative? The congressman. And the congressman basically represents only 250,000 people in his district. Unlike a senator, which is who is elected at large. So wala siyang constituent. Pwede siyang gumawa ng kanyang gustong gawin based on his inclinations or political ideology. But the House of Representatives has to listen to his voters kasi every 250,000 voters can knows who to look for directly. Okay? And the exceptions are the power of the president to fix tariff rates, yun yung import duties ng yung mga item isa-isa, import and export quota. That is the controversy now regarding the pigs, yung baboy, na you can allow in. Who decided to lower the tariff to allow more pork to come in? Duterte. And why is Duterte allowed? Because this is an exception to the power of taxation, non-delegation taxation, local government administrative agency. Okay, so here's your case.
Okay. The Metro Manila Development Authority acting chairman decided that, like Singapore, Metro Manila would install toll booths at the various entrances to EDSA to collect decongestion tax for vehicles using EDSA during peak hours. Each vehicle entering EDSA from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. will pay 100 pesos upon entering the highway, regardless of where they exit. As MMDA started the construction of the toll gates, motorists filed a taxpayer suit to stop the disbursement of public money for such toll gates and to question the legality of such tax, claiming, among others, that number one, the MMDA charter does not give it an authority to impose tax. Number two, the toll gates will clog the entrances to EDSA and violate administrative feasibility of a sound tax system. And number three, it is tantamount to illegal double taxation because the vehicles already paid the road. The vehicles already paid the road users tax to the LTO. Decide. I rule. Let me think about it.
Okay, I'll let you think.
Okay.
Don't think too long, huh? It's already
Yes, sir.
10 o'clock.
Okay. I rule in favor of the. I rule in favor of the taxpayers. Legal basis is that all forms of all taxes and imposition of taxes must originate from the House of Representatives, and in this case, it did not go through the House of Representatives, rather simply the Metro Manila Development Authority.
And what is Manila Development Authority? Is it not this one? Local government?
Oh no, sir. By local government implies taxes imposed by local government units such as the City of Manila, City of Marikina, etc.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How about the other two?
The other two, sir. I believe the second reason, the toll gates will clog the entrances to EDSA and violates administrative feasibility of a sound tax system. I rule in favor. I rule on all three accounts, sir.
Huh?
Am I supposed to rule on all three? All three.
Yes, all three.
Okay. For number two, the toll gates will clog the entrances to EDSA and violates administrative feasibility of a sound tax system. I rule in favor of the toll gates or the Metro Manila Development Authority because it is not because clogging EDSA is not sufficient reason for taxes to be imposed or not to be imposed. It is not
part of the inherent limitation. Even the sound tax system is not part of the restriction or the inherent limitations of the.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Third.
This is tantamount to illegal double taxation because the vehicles already paid the road. It is tantamount to illegal double taxation because the vehicles already paid the road users tax to the LTO. I rule in favor of the Metro Manila Development Authority because double taxation in this case does not illegal double taxation in this case does not apply because it is not by the same government. It is not by the same authoritative body.
And that's for the same purpose.
Yes, sir. Not for the same purpose. Because a road users tax is essentially all roads.
All vehicles.
Yes, sir. All vehicles. But for this one, it's just for those passing by EDSA.
Yes. Okay. Have you been to Singapore?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen what I'm talking about? What this case is talking about?
I'm not sure, sir, but I just know there's very high vehicle tax in Singapore.
Oh, wait, let me wait. Wait. Hello.
Hello, sir. Oh, akala ko ako. Never mind. Ouch. I will wait here.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Oh,
Yes, sir.
Yes. Road users talks of your, if you look at Singapore, every time you enter the Orchard Road, there's a parang yung nasa taas na,
Like a
parang
sensor?
sensor, oo.
Yeah.
Parang RFID natin.
Yes, sir.
Daan ka, charge ka agad. Daan ka, charge ka agad.
Yes, sir.
So that is how Singapore is doing it. And then that is how it's keeping the main thoroughfare, yung Orchard Road, free from traffic. Because if you enter during peak hour, you will automatically kailangan ka ma-deduct, mabawasan. Now, basically this case, this was, I think, in the panahon ni Jajamar Binay as chairman ng MMDA at that time. They came up with this idea, very, di ba? Charge lang tayo, para mabawasan yung kotse sa EDSA, gawa natin ng ganyan. Ang problema is, when it reached the court, the case was, the law was struck down, the tax was struck down, because MMDA is not a governmental unit, local government unit. It is a mere council for the effective implementation of law. Wala siyang legislative power. Therefore, for MMDA to pass such a regulation is like a violation of the constitutional limitation on non-delegation of taxing authority. Tama ka? Ang dapat gawin, which is ginagawa ngayon ng mga, di ba? Pansin na yung sa curfew.
Dapat LGUs.
LGU ang nakpapas, MMDA nakmit. Meeting yung Metro Manila Council chaired by Mayor Olivares, with Chairman Abalos, and then they agree, okay, curfew natin ngayon is 5 o'clock. So each individual city will pass an ordinance imposing the curfew at 5 o'clock. And then now, gusto natin 8 o'clock. O, agree na tayo ha? Agree na tayo lahat 13 mayors. Then, hindi rin MMDA nakasabi, but each local government will now be the one to change. Okay? So this violates the constitutional prohibition on non-delegation of power. Kaya doon lang siya baksak. Kung sa administrative feasibility, if you've been to Singapore, you know that it's seamless. No one even knows, you won't even know that you're being charged. Happy ka pa dumaan ng 2 beses, nag-ikot ka ng 2 beses sa Orchard Road, yun pala, 2 beses ka na-charge ng toll. Yes, it happened to me sa taxi ko. It would have been faster for me to cheaper for me to walk and of course I don't walk, but I realized it too late. I was moving from the building of Bitsui to the building of Marubeni in Singapore, and they were just 3 blocks away. So I took a taxi. I left from Orchard Road going out, so I get charged. Coming back, I get charged again to the other side lang. That's why Singapore is rich. Now, of course, the other people questioning, you want 100 peso entry per entry. And what if you're not, like in my case, I'm just entering from Orchard to one side to the other side, I still have to pay the same amount. But it will not violate administrative feasibility simply because there are possible ways to do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, sir. Wait, sir. Question, sir.
Yeah.
Did they have to decide on the 3 reasons, or was one reason sufficient for them to strike the law now?
One reason was sufficient.
One reason. Okay.
But since ito na, di ba, discuss na rin natin, di ba?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Miss C. Miss
Yes,
C.
sir.
Do I see you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, Miss C. We are now going to the situs of taxation and etc. I already opened the module 2 for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that is part of module 2 na. Situs means where the place of taxation. I think your group, was it your group who did the German
Yes,
case?
sir. Yeah.
So you understand very well what is situs. Without this, depending on where you are, is where you will be charged. Okay. Income is based on the place where it is earned, and okay.
In 2016, Karen worked as an employee of ABC Corporation as a paralegal. She earns a monthly salary, net of applicable creditable withholding tax and compensation. To earn extra income, she also leases out a commercial building that she inherited from her parents to a local bank. Every month, the owner of the bank pays rent, also net of applicable creditable withholding tax. After the end of the year, the BIR examiner informed her that she still had taxes due on her total income in 2016. Karen contested the assessment and argued that she could not possibly have any tax dues for 2016 since any taxes due on both her compensation and rental income were already withheld and remitted to the BIR as full and final payment of her tax liabilities for the year. Creditable with I rule in favor of Karen because yung tax niya is creditable withholding tax on compensation na. So every month, the withholding tax is given to the government na automatic for both her work as a paralegal and from her property that she leases out to the local bank. Therefore, at the end of 2016, the full amount has already been given to the BIR.
Did you attend that or did you watch that lecture about withholding tax?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there are two kinds of withholding tax. What are these?
The withholding tax where part is withheld na, pero at the end of the year you have to pay pa. And then the other one
of withholding tax. One is final withholding tax, where you don't need to pay anything. You know, like salary, like interest, income.
I see.
There's one which is creditable, di ba? That is what we discussed dun sa case ni Creba Realty, di ba?
Yeah. Okay. So I rule in favor of the BIR pala since it's creditable withholding tax. So at the end of the year, meron pa siyang creditable withholding tax. So at the end of the year, she still has the remaining amount to pay to the BIR.
You have to consolidate at the end of the year, okay? If you are a pure compensation income earner, then one source income lang, pwede, diba? Pero if you have two or more sources of income, you need to combine, file the return. And in terms of withholding tax of rental is 5%.
So at the end of the year, she has to consolidate all her taxes and pay the remaining amount to the BIR. Sir, you're muted pala.
She has to consolidate all her income na creditable withholding tax. Kaya pag tingnan withholding tax, dalawang klase yan. One is final withholding tax, one is creditable withholding tax. Okay? Creditable withholding tax siya, so ano yung kailangan niya gawin? Whatever, yes, she has to total all her income, then compute the tax, then less the creditable withholding tax. Get it or indifferent?
Gets pa.
Okay. So in this case, who's correct?
In this case, the BIR is correct.
Yes, the BI is correct. And this happens very often. I know of teachers, like si Dr. Sandoval, yan, nagtuturo ng accounting sa atin, sa Ateneo. Natuturo rin siya ng accounting sa MLQU. Natuturo rin siya ng accounting sa Chiang Kai-shek. So, tatlong possible sources of income niya. And each employer withhold properly based on their salary. So, or like in my case, my salary from Ateneo is, wag na si Dr. Sandoval, baka magalit pa siya sa, ma-divulge pa yung kanyang milyones. Like in my case, I'm earning from Ateneo, I'm also earning from Chiang Kai-shek. Each party, each employer withhold from me based on their income. So if I earn from Ateneo 10,000, they withhold based on 10,000. If I earn from Chiang Kai-shek 20,000, they withhold based on 20,000. Pero at the end of the year, I have to combine Ateneo, Chiang Kai-shek, my low income. So 3. So magiging 30,000 na yan. And then the 30,000 is taxable because 30 times 13 months is 390. 390 that's 250. Lampas na ako doon sa range.
Yeah.
Gets? Pero
Yeah.
my withholding tax from Ateneo is 10,000 based on 10,000. My withholding tax from Chiang Kai-shek is based on 20. So i-add mo yung dalawa, walang kala ko tapos na ako. But at the end of the day, I need to come, because what is withheld from me is called a creditable withholding tax.
I see.
So okay, thank you. Oh, ito yung case nyo.
Hi po, sir. Good morning. Okay, so Julian, a resident of Germany, appointed as domestic agent in Europe of San. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry po. Okay. Julian. Oh, okay. Julian, a resident of Germany, appointed as domestic agent in Europe of San Miguel Brewery, Philippines, with a sales commission of 10% of all sales, actually concluded and shipped to Europe through her effort. SMB withheld from her commission the amount of 1,070,000 pesos over the past 2 years and remitted the same to BIR. Julian engaged the service of a tax lawyer in the Philippines to file a claim for refund against the BIR this side. Wait, so, can I like have time to think po? I'll just reread po.
Sina Miss Lee, alam nila yung sagot nito. Kasi ito yung case nila. Diba, Miss Lee? Miss Lee?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Wait, so, sir, this is supposed to be Julian versus the BIR in relation to her refund po?
Yes.
Okay. I rule in favor of po of sorry po, sir. Oh my gosh. I rule in favor po of Julian because
Okay.
I don't think po, since she is a resident of Germany, I don't think that her tax should be especially since the sales commission took place dun sa in Europe. So I don't think po na she should be held she shouldn't be having withholding tax po, considering that
Mhm.
considering po that her income is outside of the Philippines and she is also not a resident here po.
Income tax is based on where it is earned.
Earned po, yes.
Okay. What is the activity that made her earn the commission?
Yung services niya in bringing yung SMB po sa Europe.
Yes, binibentahan niya yung Oktoberfest, yung ano ni SM, San Miguel Beer. So, her work is in Europe, selling to,
Yes po.
selling for San Miguel. Okay.
Yes po.
So, where is the income activity done?
In Europe rin po.
In Europe, di ba?
Yes po.
Since it's done in Europe, where is the situs of income taxation?
Sa Europe rin po. And it also adds na she's a resident of Germany. So, hindi pa siya resident of the Philippines.
Yes.
So, she shouldn't be, yeah. So, she shouldn't be taxed in that sense po.
Mm-hmm. Relax. Why are you crying without my, ano?
Oh, sir, I'm not crying po.
Crying out. Kala ko nag-ano ka na.
I think po that I'm not sure if the refund po is the correct way of claiming po yung
The refund is correct because San Miguel already paid. San Miguel withheld 10% from her income. So
yes
she
po. Then that shouldn't be the case po.
Why?
And because the site is po like her work since her commission of the 10% sales, it happened because of her na it went to it was shipped to Europe, so therefore the work would have been not in the Philippines. And it also adds that since she is a resident of Germany, then all the more she shouldn't be taxed because she should only be taxed since she is not a resident of the Philippines. Her tax should only be coming from income sources within the country also.
Yes, yan ang interpretation.
So, yeah.
Nagbenta ka para sa San Miguel, so income mo is from the Philippines. Diba? Yan ang interpretation ng BIR, which is wrong because the situs of taxation is the activity, and the activity happens to be in Europe.
In Europe.
But the Philippine
yes.
San Miguel withheld her commission from her commission the amount of 1,070,000 peso and remitted the same to BIR.
I think
So what
that
happened?
in that case, she can. I'm not sure if she can claim for refund.
I'm not refund because SM San Miguel Beer already paid her tax for her here.
Yes, po.
Do you understand why she's asking for refund? Because already the tax is not paid at the time of April 15, but the tax is withheld at the time of payment as earned. Remember our discussion before on payment as earned. So as she earned the money, she's automatically withheld the tax already by San Miguel.
Yes.
So yan. That's why she's asking back this money.
Sir, I'm not sure. I read po sa the note something about yung tax credit po. So I'm not sure if that would be applicable here. But I feel like in this case, like she would be I think since it's she was unrightfully taxed, I think she would be able to file a claim for refund in that case.
Yes. Tax credit and refund differs in this way. Tax credit means that whatever you pay in excess or wrongly, you just apply in your future obligation. So, tax credit yan.
Yes po.
Pero kung si Julian ay German yan, tapos hindi siya mag-ano dito, hindi siya magnenegosyo naman dito, there will be not nowhere to credit her extra payment. So she is asking for money from the government. Okay?
Okay po. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry po, sir.
No problem. Alvin C.
Yes, sir.
Will I see you, Mr. C?
Yes, now you see me, sir.
Okay.
Maria Galvez, a Filipino, competed in the World Ballroom Dancing Competition and won the gold medal and a cash prize of $1 million. All the appropriate taxes were collected from her by the United States government. Upon her arrival in the Philippines, the BIR asked her to pay for deficiency income taxes relative to her cash prize. Maria argued that the US and Philippines have a tax treaty that she is no longer liable for income taxes in the Philippines. For this, I rule in favor of Maria Galvez since the citos of the taxation or like the activity happened outside the jurisdiction of the Philippines because it happened in like the United States. And so it was the activity itself wasn't is outside the jurisdiction of the Philippines basically. So yes, I think she should go file that case, sir.
She should go or she should not?
She should.
She should.
Because I rule in favor of Maria Galvez, sir, so she should.
Okay. What's the difference of this case and the other case?
The difference of this is that I believe Maria herself is a Filipino resident. Unlike the other one, she's not a Filipino resident.
Okay. So what's the difference?
Okay, wait, sir. Sorry, wait. Because the law states that resident citizens are taxable for their income regardless of source. Wait. Oh my God. Wait. Filipino citizen. So she's a Filipino citizen, pero the activity happened outside Philippines. Oh.
Difference of this case and the case of Julian. Julian is a resident of Germany. Maria Galvez is a Filipina. Where is she staying?
She's staying in Okay, she stays in the Philippines, sir.
Stays in the Philippines. So anong rule natin? Okay. Depending on the type of taxpayer, ito yung chart. Can you see? If she's a Filipino resident,
Yes, yeah.
Filipino citizen, and a resident here, you are taxable for all your income within and outside of the Philippines. Okay. If you're a Filipino citizen and not a resident of the Philippines, you are taxable only for income within the Philippines. Okay. And if you are a German, not a citizen of the Philippines, even if you reside in the Philippines, you are taxable only for the income within the Philippines.
Oh, okay. So, sir, if I understood clearly, Maria is a Filipino resident, is a Filipino citizen, but then the like the income that she got was outside the Philippines. So meaning,
No, is she a resident or non-resident?
oh wait, sorry. She is a resident.
Yes, because if she's not a resident, she doesn't qualify. Even if you have Filipino blood, if you have a daughter in America with Filipino blood or Filipino citizenship, she cannot join the Miss Universe pageant representing the Philippines because she lives in America. Therefore, for you to qualify, you must live in the Philippines. Therefore, Maria Galvez is a Filipino citizen and a resident. And what is the scope of taxation here?
Within and outside.
Okay, very good.
So with the bounds of the law presented just now, okay, I believe that I should be ruling in favor of the BIR instead.
Okay.
Because on the grounds of Maria herself is a Filipino citizen and resident, which means that she is taxable on her income regardless of source, whether it happened outside or inside the Philippine jurisdiction.
That is also the same issue with Manny Pacquiao. Okay. And before we go to Manny Pacquiao, let me explain this. Ang nangyari na yan is if you won $1 million for the ballroom dancing competition, you are not your money will not get, you will not get 1 million. The United States government will already deduct, I think, maybe 20%. And then based on the 20% price earning, when you come to the Philippines, you also have to pay tax, but not the whole based on 30% of 1 million or 35% of 1 million, but the tax due less whatever you pay. This is the application of a tax treaty. Okay, that is what the BIR is saying. You are no longer, you're not liable for the full 350,000 of 1 million. You're liable only for 350 less whatever you paid in the US. Okay, this is the proper application. In the case of Manny Pacquiao was a boxer based in the United States before. Okay, so Manny Pacquiao is a Filipino or an American?
Filipino.
What is his status of taxation? If he is a Filipino based in Las Vegas, what is his taxable income?
Only income that is made only within
the Philippines. So yung ano niya kay Marquez, yung trabaho niya kay Marquez na nagbayad sa kanya ng 30 million, yung HBO payment sa Amerika, will that be taxable?
It's not, sir.
It's not. Yes, very good. Okay. Yung income ng endorsement niya ng San Miguel?
It's also not taxable.
Why?
Sorry, sir.
Why is it not taxable?
Because she is not a citizen in the first place.
But where is the source of her income? What is the situs of taxation of the advertisement of San Miguel?
Within the Philippines.
Yes, did you see that commercial where nagano sila ni Efrem Bata Reyes, nagano, di ba? Nag-inuman sila sa Pilipinas. Di ba? Unless you bring Efrem Bata Reyes and the basketball player, I forgot his name now, and then they sent everyone to the US to take the, he came to the Philippines and shoot a commercial. So what happens now? That income is low.
Yes, sir.
That income is taxable or not?
It's not taxable, sir.
Huh?
Wait, this is about the San Miguel issue, sir, right?
Yes. San Miguel commercial, ha? Commercial ni Manny Pacquiao, ha?
Okay. Sorry, my bad. It is taxable, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What's the problem? Bakit mayroon siyang kaso? One of you is doing the Pacquiao case. Bakit may kaso? The case happened because in 2009, Manny Pacquiao came back and ran as congressman of Sarangani. No, sorry. Congressman of General Santos.
Yes,
he came
sir.
back to run as General Santos, Congressman of General Santos against Darlene Custodio.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens then if in 2009 he came back?
Meaning he resides in the Philippines na.
Yes. Can you be a congressman, a congressional candidate if you are not a resident of Philippines?
No.
You cannot, right? So he came back. And when he came back, what happened?
When he came back, meaning for all the activities that will be made there, like starting the time that he came back in the Philippines, like all the activities that he will accomplish will be taxable, but also activities that he made outside, because
Yes.
like,
So yung kinalaban niya si De La Hoya. Can you hear me?
yes sir, yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me well?
It's actually kind of muffled lang, sir, but I can figure out what you're saying naman po.
Okay. So wonder Miss Ginto is complaining about my voice. Sayang pa naman ng voice ko. Ala Pavarotti pa naman ako. Hindi niyo kilala si Pavarotti. Si Placido Domingo, kilala niyo? Hindi rin. Paano na? Generation gap. So, Manny Pacquiao came back to the Philippines to run a congressman. The rule is, if he came back on 2009 to establish his one-year residence, he's taxable starting 2010. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So, if he's taxable in 2010, what happens now?
If it's taxable on 2010,
That
like
is
what
why,
happened to like,
yes, yung laban niya kay
Sir,
De La Hoya in 2010, what happens now?
That means he's gonna whether his example, he became a resident na he came back to the Philippines, meaning example, if he's gonna fight like in a boxing competition in the future, meaning he should pay taxes na, even if the matches occurred outside the Philippine jurisdiction.
Yes. So even though the fight was in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
that income is now subject to Philippine tax. Yun ang
Yes.
problema niya. Kaya siya kinasuhan ni Jimenez.
Yes, sir.
From 2010 to 2016, especially since he ran under the party of Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. So kalaban siya ni Pinoy, ikinasuhan siya. Okay. The only difference, if you read the case of Manny Pacquiao, is BIR Commissioner Kim Henares did not deduct her payment of, did not deduct anymore the payment made for the US taxes. Yan ang sinasabi ni Manny Pacquiao na binayaran ko na sa US yung tax ko eh. Parang si Maria Galvez. Diba? Bayaran na nila yung tax. Oo. Pero what you should do is you should deduct based on tax treaty. There should be a payment for the payment made in the US should be deducted from the tax due. So hindi 2 billion ang utang ni Manny Pacquiao.
Sir, so would that like come off as double taxation?
No, parang hindi nga double taxation is may bawas doon.
Okay.
Yun ang sinasabi ko kanina. So ang sabi ni the biggest tax evasion case filed was the one against Manny Pacquiao for 2 billion. Paano hindi magiging 2 billion? 100 million plus ang kinita niya sa mga boxing fights niya. Then the tax due is whatever tax is due in the Philippines less whatever tax is paid in America. This is an application of the tax treaty. Okay. Who is doing that Manny Pacquiao case? Someone is doing that Manny Pacquiao case.
I don't know, sir.
No, okay. Okay. Now, what is Ms. Lee is asking? What is NETB? What is ETB? ETB means you are engaged in trade and business. You are registered to be engaged in trade and business. If you are NETB man, you are not engaged in trade or business. Okay? Understand?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Ms. Lee. Yes. Mr. C, okay na?
Yes, sir.
Sir, question.
Yes.
Hi, sir. So,
yeah.
Does that mean that Manny Pacquiao boxing in another country and earning income in that country classify as an ETB if he was a resident of the Philippines?
No. If he's a resident of the Philippines, what will apply is this quadrant number 1. Filipino citizen resident, all income within and outside is taxable.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So, but
this case is si Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is engaged in trade and business or not in the Philippines. Naka-register ba dito?
I would think not, sir.
She's not, di ba? So she came for a concert in 2016 to open the arena, the SM Arena. Okay. Next question. What is her taxation? Is she a citizen?
No, sir.
No, not citizen. Is she a resident?
No, sir.
No, sir. So, if she's not a citizen, she's not a resident, ano siya? Is she engaged in business or not engaged in business?
She's engaged in business.
She is registered?
To
perform a show lang.
Wait, sir. Sir, concerts don't count as business?
No, she came to engage in, she's not the one selling the concert tickets. She just came to perform.
Okay, so yeah, that would classify as NETB.
Yes. Therefore, if you pay Lady Gaga $1 million, she has to pay 250,000, 25%. No, not the prorated income tax rate.
Oh, okay, sir. So the performer themselves is not liable. They would be NETB, but then the company, the foreign company that handles bringing Lady Gaga's concerts to other countries would be liable for ETB.
Yes.
Since they are doing business.
So the income from the sale of the concert is ETB. But Lady Gaga's professional fee as a singer is NETB. There's this artist Brown. Si Brown ba yan? Kilala niya yung dapat mag-show sa Philippine Arena tapos hindi niya tuloy.
Sir, I'm sorry?
There's a artist, I forgot his name now, James Brown or something. She's supposed to appear in a concert at the Philippine Arena naman. Okay. Chris Brown, yes, Miss Angeles, thank you. You saved me. Diyan, anong pinagsasabi ko? Chris Brown, you don't know him? Walang nakakalam ng Chris Brown? Huwag niyo sabihin generation gap ulit.
Oh, we know him, but
we know.
We just don't like him, sir.
Huh? He came to the Philippines to sing. But the problem was he's not engaged in trade or business. So what is the taxation for him? It would be based on 25% gross income. So if his fee is 1 million, he has to pay 25%. Okay.
Oh, sir, is there a certain place in the Mondon notes where it shows the ETB and NETB?
So this is already
portion?
in the Citus of taxation. This is module 2 na.
Oh, okay.
Already done with
So, sir,
done.
so does that mean that the tax treaty applies to all of these cases presented in these
So tax
citus?
treaty is applicable for the place. Like US has tax treaty with the Philippines. China has tax treaty. But some countries don't have tax treaty. So you need to check. Spain has tax treaty. But I think, I'm not sure with Germany. Singapore has tax treaty. So may ano yan, may mga kanya-kanyang tax treaty yan. You need to check.
Hi, sir. Time check po. 4 minutes to the end of class and the other classmates for how classes po. Yes.
We're ending na. I stopped na. Natanong lang siya, no?
Okay, thank
Any other
you.
question? We'll end here na, ha?
Sir, is it okay lang magpa-consult
Yes.
for our paper?
Yeah, let those who need to leave first. Then I'll discuss with you after.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Who am I talking to pala?
Miles Uy, sir.
Sige, okay. So last is Mr. C, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. For those of you with the classes, go ahead and leave now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir.
Okay. Oh. So who's left?
Hopefully, my group mates, sir. Hindi, may mga ibang tao pa.
Oh, sige.
Our group then, sir, if you have time. This is Randall, sir, Sanchez.
Okay. Sige, Miles first.
We have some questions lang. Wait lang. I'll ask one of my group mates to share screens kasi I'm on my mobile phone lang.
Yeah, then I need to add, I think you can share screen. Sige.
Portia, pwede ba mag-share
Yeah, sige.
screen?
Wait.
Sige. Oh, sir, you could stop recording na rin. Baka mapakita pa paper namin sa
Okay,
buong class.
we stop the recording. Okay.